I'm significantly concerned about it because the amount of money and credit that has to be produced
Right.
and is budgeted is a large increase. And yet, if it's not spent, it produces its own problems. The markets have a sensitivity to that. So what it means, and then there's a supply-demand picture for bonds. And the way it looks is if you should get the selling of bonds, it worsens that supply-demand picture, because the way it works is the Treasury borrows and runs a deficit, but it can't produce money. So it has to sell bonds. And when it sells bonds, if there are not enough buyers of those bonds, then the Federal Reserve got to come in and print money and buy those bonds. And the world right now is over invested in US dollar denominated bonds, pension funds on the 60-40 mix, and they have negative real returns. And cash has a lot of negative real returns. So if there was a selling of that and a moving to other assets, stocks, other assets, commodities, other assets, or other places, other currencies, other real estate and the like, that selling worsens the supply-demand picture. And then if there's not enough demand, that means that the central bank has got to come in and print more money. So yes, it's not only the inflation that's in the pipeline or projected in that supply-demand balance, but it's also what it could be if there's a selling of debt instruments.
You may have heard Ray Dalio express his concern about inflation, so we will discuss its effects. If you have watched any of our previous videos, you are probably aware that a significant market crash is imminent. If you want to learn the investment options and strategies to deal with it, make sure to watch the video all the way through. But before we begin, it is important to note that none of this is financial advice, it is merely for entertainment purposes only. Let's briefly recap what has been happening in the market before we hear more from Ray Dalio. Bitcoin has so far continued to trade above its June low of $17,100. It traded at $25,185 on August 14th. This is around 47% above its low in June. But does this rapid movement suggest that the bottom has held? Sadly, we are unable to make this assertion because the entire move from the June low has a corrective structure. In addition, if the bottom is likely to hold, we don't want the price to drop below the 0.764 retracement of the advance from the low. Fortunately, Bitcoin immediately recovered after repeatedly crossing the milestone of $19,100. This suggests that the important $16,000 level is in jeopardy and that it is quite possible that the June low will be broken. Ethereum has performed far better than Bitcoin, which typically has a strong correlation with Ether. It rose to $2,026 after falling to $879 in June, a 131% increase. The rally to $2,026 is too high to constitute a fourth wave of the C wave that started down from Ether's all-time highs, which is more significant. Under $1,780, a high fourth wave ought to have held. The structure off the June low can also be referred to as a leading diagonal. All of this suggests that the June low is likely to persist. This structure leaves us with support for a wave 2 off the June low of $1,000. As long as that level is not breached, both the long-term chart and the move off the June low suggest that $10,500 is in the cards. Let's dive into Ray Dalio's views on these two cryptocurrencies and how they will compare to each other, as well as his thoughts on how he believes the crypto market will grow and if he holds any Bitcoin himself.
I'm not going to give the precise amount of Bitcoin, but I do own some Ethereum as well. But the answer to your question is that I don't own a lot of it. I view it as an alternative money in an environment where the value of cash, money, is depreciating in real terms. And I think it's very impressive that for last 10, 11 years, That programming has still held up. It hasn't been hacked and so on, and it has an adoption rate. So I'm very big on diversification, and it's a relatively small part of the portfolio. I would like to say that cash, I've been quoted, cash is trash, that cash, which most investors think is the safest investment, is, I think, the worst investment, and that it's important because it loses buying power. The one thing I would say to investors is don't judge anything in your returns or your assets in nominal terms, in terms of how many dollars you have. View it in terms of inflation adjusted dollars. And so cash, like this year, you'll lose 4 or 5% to inflation. And so pay attention to those, because I believe that that'll be the worst investment. And then beyond that, the important thing is to diversify one's portfolio well, because we know from that the surprises in the balance. We also know that those asset classes on average significantly outperform and will significantly outperform cash, and that they move between each other in a way that that has to do with correlations, because of when things go down, when the economy goes down, then bonds will do better than stocks, and so on and so forth. So diversification of assets. I view crypto as a small piece of that, and the message is cash is going to be a problematic asset, and hold that other diversified portfolio of assets. Keep looking at it in real terms, not nominal terms, and that diversification should be also international diversification from countries, not just asset classes, in order to have a truly well-diversified portfolio.
So as you can see, Ray Dalio and many other financial professionals concur that cryptocurrencies are the future of money. To be secure, it's wise to start modestly with investments of any kind. Finally, let's expose a secret that you probably didn't know. When creating Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto almost chose to call it Netcoin instead. Historical domain registration data in particular reveals that the website associated with the original Bitcoin, bitcoin.org, which was registered on August 18, 2008, may have been called netcoin.org. Interestingly, according to crypto locksmith or Weinberger, netcoin.org was registered a day before bitcoin.org was established. The two domains were purchased through the anonymous domain name purchasing provider Anonymous Speech. Further investigation revealed that no information was ever published on the netcoin.org domain before another person repurchased it. Additionally, the netcoin.org domain was then erased before being reclaimed by a web.com subsidiary in 2010. Finally, when it comes to Bitcoin's next move, no one can predict when it will bottom out or if it has already done so. The current Bitcoin market is still being monitored by the crypto whales and experts who have been waiting for these changes. Also, the crypto market continues to grow more like the stock market and macroeconomic indicators, so let's see what's going to happen next. What do you think about all this? Please share your thoughts below in the comment section. They always generate interesting dialogue. If you found this video interesting or helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon so you don't miss any of our future uploads. And while you're still here, click to watch one of these two videos appearing on your screen right now. Each one is a value-packed dive into some of the hottest topics in crypto. Thanks for watching, until next time.